What's up, guys? We're officially in Christmas season, mid-December, and that means we're in a moment where a lot of us are either looking back at the best shoes we've run in over the past year, at all those training goals we've accomplished in 2023, or we are looking forward at all of those new exciting models we're getting next year and starting to plan out our training and racing goals for 2024. So I want to take a moment today to highlight the here and now, the present, and some of these shoes that I am running in to support my current training in December 2023. So over the past year, I've run in probably 25 to 30 different shoes. I've racked up 3,000 miles and I've done more than a handful of races. So 2023 was a big year of half marathons for me. I did a marathon in late 2022. This year I decided to take the year off from doing marathons. So I raced 3 half marathons on the road, getting my time down from 124 at the beginning of the year to 119, most recently in October. And I also did a trail half marathon out at the Whitewater Center in Charlotte. Now, most recently, I've been getting into high mileage training, which for me means running more than 100 miles a week. I'm looking to take a big crack at the marathon in 2024, and I know to do that, I need to build my aerobic base to be as strong as possible. So where I've landed right now is these 3 pairs of shoes. I have the New Balance 1080 V13, I have the Adidas Boston 12, and the Nike Vomero 17. So with that, with the current state of my training right now, I've been doing a lot of double days, every morning running 10 to 12 miles. Then I'll do a 4 to 8 mile run in the afternoon. I've also started working in a medium long run during the midweek. So that gives me one more chance to get 2-hour long runs. And then in the weekend, I've been going 18, 20 plus miles every weekend to again, start building that aerobic base so that I have a really strong, robust foundation. Now, I am not an elite runner. I did not run in high school or college. I came to the sport later in life, and I've only been doing structured training for a few years now. I know that in order to reach my potential, I need to run as many miles as possible because I don't have that strong foundation that running competitively earlier in life would have given me. So I've got to start getting my lifetime mileage up right now. And because I am a fairly injury resistant runner, I can manage these high mileage 100, 110 mile weeks without getting injured, knock on wood. Okay, so with that little bit of context out of the way, let's dive into my daily trainer right now. So for most of my everyday miles, I'm using the Nike Vomero 17. So over the past year, I've gone through a ton of daily trainers. I started off this year running a lot in shoes like the Saucony Triumph, the Saucony Endorphin Shift 3. I then moved to using shoes like the New Balance Rebel V3, the Adidas Adizero SL, the Hoka Mach 5. And with every different daily trainer I get, it gets a little bit of a different use depending on where I am in the cycle. For example, a Mach 5, if I'm using that as my daily trainer, I'll often have also another higher stacked recovery style shoe, and I'll alternate between those for slower fast days. What I love about the Nike Vomero 17 is that it handles slower and faster days pretty well because the foam in here is pretty bouncy and responsive. So this shoe has a dual foam construction. It's got a ZoomX layer on the top and a Cushlon 3.0 layer on the bottom here. That Cushlon 3.0 adds some stability, the ZoomX adds some pop, and underfoot it's really nice and soft cushioned shoe, but also has a little bit of that outsole bite for durability and longevity. So if you look down at the bottom here, you'll see that it's a very thick layer of this outsole rubber, which has been super helpful as North Carolina, where I live, gets very wet in the winter. So I used this morning. The roads were absolutely soaked and this thing did a great job. This is not the lightest weight shoe and it's not designed to go fast, but that is not what I'm using it for. I use this for all my standard morning 10 to 12 mile runs. I've gone up to 13, 14 miles with it as well, and it can handle those longer efforts, and it does keep my legs feeling very fresh. So overall, this is a nice and protective shoe that is a great high mileage training shoe because it has that higher stack, 39 millimeters in the heel, 29 millimeters in the forefoot, which keeps your legs more protected than a standard daily trainer like the Nike Pegasus. All right, guys, so next up here we have the Adidas Boston 12, and this is the shoe that I've been using for long runs as well as any type of runs right now where I want to go faster, add some pace in there, or just have a little bit more of a fun, responsive shoe to run in. So right now, as I mentioned, I'm in that aerobic base building period. I haven't dived in earnest to a structured marathon training program. I've been deciding if I want to do Fitzinger, if I want to do Daniels, if I want to go back to a Hanson's plan. What I'll likely do is start incorporating structured workouts on Tuesdays from one of these plans, and then do marathon pace runs on Thursdays and long runs on Saturdays. What I find worked best for me is to design my own training plan around my own lifestyle. I don't love following one of these books to a T, and I know it works for me. It's generally 2 to 3 quality days a week with an aerobic to steady pace long run. So if I were doing structured workouts at VO2 max pace, at 5K pace, I may want something a little bit lighter weight or snappier than this Boston 12, but because I'm doing this longer style marathon training right now, this is an absolutely perfect shoe. I love this for long runs. I used it for 20 miles yesterday at around a 7-minute flat pace. It just felt absolutely beautiful. It does take about 50 to 70 miles to really break in, but once it does, this Light Strike Pro is really nice and soft, and these glass fiber energy rods provide just enough energy return underfoot without it becoming overly harsh like some carbon fiber plates can do. So if you've watched this channel for a few months, you might have remembered when I quit carbon fiber plated shoes and I was running a lot in lower stacked shoes to help out build up my leg strength. That was a key goal for me earlier in the year when I wanted to become a stronger runner. Now I'm at a different stage of my training life cycle, and I'm not looking for that pure strength and speed. I'm looking to, again, build that aerobic base, and I want to do it in a way that keeps my legs as fresh as possible with as low of an injury chance as possible. So with that, I've gone toward these higher stacked cushion shoes to give me a little bit more protection and to help keep me feeling good for the next run. So because I'm not doing legit track work right now, I can get away with having one shoe as my faster shoe and long run shoe. As I said in the review for this shoe, this is the best marathon training partner on the market right now. It has everything you need for marathon training. It has cushion, it has the ability to go fast, it leaves your legs feeling protected. It also has this really robust Continental rubber outsole on here, and I ran in this yesterday in the most torrential downpour I've ever experienced in my entire life. And mind you, that was during a 20-mile long run, and this thing absolutely handled it like a champ. It also cleans off very well, as you can see. So for a 3-shoe marathon training rotation, I would highly recommend grabbing the Boston 12. I don't think there's any other shoe on the market that can execute on this brief as well as this one. All right guys, finally we have my recovery running shoe, and that is the New Balance 1080 V13. I always like to have one shoe in my rotation that is pure comfort, and that's what the 1080 V13 does for me. It has this thick stack of Fresh Foam underfoot. Now Fresh Foam is an EVA blend. It's not gonna be the fastest or snappiest, but it is really soft, has a slight bounce to it, and it just mutes any of the road feel that you'd feel otherwise when you're running. So this is a shoe that I pull for after hard workout days, after long runs. I didn't use it this morning because it was super wet out there and I didn't want this to get dirtied up and mucked up, but that's why I have the Vomero 17, because it is in a darker color. I can use it for those types of days. But this is just an overall great shoe for when your legs are feeling a little bit beat up and you want some recovery. Now I've gone up to 15 miles with this, about 2 hours, and it's not gonna be a shoe where you're pushing marathon pace at the end of those long runs, but if you wanna get out there for one of those medium long runs or even a 2-hour plus long run, it will have you feeling very comfortable. I wouldn't use this on any days where you need to turn over the legs, but for me, when I strap this on, I know that I'm just going out there to relax, have a good time, get the blood flowing. It's not going to be a day where I'm concerned at all about pace. So as part of a 3-shoe rotation, this is probably the most limited in use case of the 3 shoes I have. It can be a daily trainer if you want something a little bit slower, but it's really for that super slow recovery style running. However, with the Boston 12 in my lineup right now, that can pinch it anywhere you need it to. So this is a great partner to those other 2 shoes in the rotation. So generally, how I think about building a rotation is having something for everyday runs. Right now it's Vomero 17. Having something for when you're feeling super beat up, which right now is the New Balance 1080 V13. Then having something to run long in and run fast in, which for me is one shoe, which is the Boston 12. So I've had other times, even this year, where I was managing a 6, 7, 8 shoe rotation, but I've found that I like to settle into having 3 to 4 shoes, maybe 5 shoes if I'm working in a carbon fiber plated racer into my rotation. That's where the sweet spot is. I like just knowing I'm doing an easy run today, I grab the 1080 V13. I'm doing a standard training run in that steady-ish zone, I'm going for the Nike Vomero 17. I have a workout or race pace, I'm going for the Boston 12. Having fewer shoes simplifies things for me, and with running 100 miles a week, I need to prioritize my decision making. It's almost like how some executives have a uniform. They just wear the same stuff every day. Easy to just grab for the same shoe every time that I have a similar style of run. All right guys, so there you have it. Those are the 3 shoes in my 110-mile training rotation right now. Thank you for watching. Drop any questions you have on these shoes or my training in the comments below. As always, appreciate the support. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and I'll be back tomorrow with another video.